this is where the Gary Moore solo stuff really takes off for me. And this was right in the time when I was going to gigs every week, 2 or 3 gigs every week and all that sort of stuff. And there just seemed to be so much going on in those days, not like now where bands take 3 or 4 years to put an album out. People were flitting around from band to band and stuff. And this, when this came out, Corridors of Power, Gary Moore. Now, he had got Ian Paice and Neil Murray on it. So he's taken the engine room from Whitesnake. He's got the engine room from Whitesnake on this album with Gary Moore playing the guitar. It's always made me wonder if when Bernie Marsden left Whitesnake, David Coverdale ever considered Gary Moore as a replacement. Gary Moore probably wouldn't have wanted to go. Anyway, I don't know. But this, you got Ian Paice and you got Neil Murray. You've also got Tommy Eyre on the keyboards, and it feels like a band. If you listen to this album, it's like a Whitesnake album of that time. It's like a Rainbow album of that time. It's structured like a early 1980s rock album, and it's really good. I mean, I must admit, I hadn't played it for a few years until I played it this afternoon, and I forgot how good it was. I'd always got it in my head that the vocals let it down because Gary Moore wasn't quite as good a singer, but I realised I'm comparing him to the singers in Whitesnake and Rainbow, and this is when he's developing. Singers develop, especially non-singing singers, if you know what I mean. If you listen to most instrumentalists when they make solo albums and they sing, the more albums they make, the better they get. Bernie Marsden's a perfect example of a person who's improved tenfold as a singer. Gary Moore, the same, I would say, that at the end of his recording career, he was 10 times as singer as at the beginning, but he's far better on this than I remembered. And it's great. I mean, Don't Take Me for a Loser is just a classic early 1980s crunching rock song, and then you go bang into a ballad of Always Gonna Love You. Then he does a cover of Wishing Well, which has got to be a brave thing to do, because I mean, Paul Rodgers is the greatest rock singer ever, and Gary Moore's going to try and sing one of his songs. Plus, you've got Kossoff guitar, and you've got Gary Moore guitar. Now, in some ways, you probably couldn't think of two different things, but Kossoff was all about space and not playing very fast, whereas Gary Moore could play a million miles an hour. This is a surprisingly good version of Wishing Well, and I like it. I don't like that many people that cover free tracks for obvious reasons, but this is really good. Then you've got a couple of probably lesser tracks to finish the side off, a little bit more sort of softer tracks again, which was what was sort of in vogue around then. So then you get into the second side, and then you go into the sort of rock epic type things. End of the World with Jack Bruce playing on that as well, and that was a great song, really good when they played it live as well. The only track on the album that I don't like is Rockin' Every Night. I just think that's a throwaway song. It's definitely filler. It's not very good at all. One of the ones I really like, Cold Hearted. I mean, that a lot of people probably think that's a bit part track on this album, but I love it. I think it's brilliant. And then, of course, I Can't Wait Until Tomorrow, which is absolutely fantastic and was even better live. I mean, this was, to me, this is probably my favourite Gary Moore album. I probably like this better than all his blues stuff. I'm not counting the Thin Lizzy stuff, because obviously the Thin Lizzy stuff, Black Rose album, is way up there. This, for me, is the best album with Gary Moore's name on it, on the top. Just Gary Moore, not a band. And you can see how much I play this. I mean, the cover is a bit sort of creased and stuff. Look at the record. It's still immaculate. I've played it today. You can't even hear a crackle anywhere at all. And I bought this the day it came out. Still got the price ticket on it. £3.99 for a brand new album. Now, the man in the attic was saying to me, he said, didn't that come with a free single? Now, I can't remember. Now, all my singles are kept in a trunk because I never bought that many singles. I did start with, but I stopped buying singles in about 1984, 85, apart from my sort of big bands which I was collecting and whatever. And I don't play them at all because I'm too lazy to keep getting on putting them on for a start. So they just stay in the trunk. So I don't know whether I got a free EP with mine. And I bought it on the day it came out, so you could argue that I should have. But of course, back in those days, there was no internet. There was no sort of thing to sort of check and say, oh look, if you get it now, you get a free. You just had to rely on the music papers, and the music papers came out on a Thursday, and the albums normally came out in those days on a Friday before they changed it. They changed it to Monday, don't they? It used to be a Friday anyway. So you got a full week of chart activity. And sometimes it wasn't until the week after they'd been out that they were being spoken about in the paper, so you didn't know and you'd already bought it. So I honestly don't know whether I've got a copy that's got the free EP with it or not. It doesn't say anything on the cover, but guessing it wouldn't. So there you go. So there is a copy of this with a free live EP. I haven't got it, I don't think. Might have. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, if you can grab hold of a copy of this, it's a really, really good rock album from the early 80s. You think of the albums that Whitesnake, Rainbow and bands like that were putting out, and even the bands that were coming through, like your Def Leppards and your Iron Maidens and all them, this is right up there with some of the best albums that came out in the early 80s. I was just surprised, and I just had a look earlier on today, and it only got to number 30 in the album chart, which just shows you how much good music there must have been around at that particular time.